We all know who Jogo is from Jujutsu Kaisen. Jogo is one of the 4 cursed spirits born from humanity's collective, subconscious fears. His appearance and abilities imply he was born from their collective fear of volcanic eruptions. Each cursed spirit is meant to have some sort of ideology or cause by which they cause havoc in the Jujutsu world. And today, we're doing a deep analysis of Jogo's goal of existence and his risk-taking nature of battling enemies, even if he is fully aware of the power gap. Curses are a species that emerge from the cursed energy released by humans due to their negative emotions, inherently making them aggressive and violent. Jogo as a curse exemplifies this nature, but he is far from ordinary. He has been considered an unregistered special grade spirit since 2018 in the series timeline, and he is noted for his ability to defeat numerous high-ranking sorcerers, including Naobito, the leader of the Zenin clan. Jogo personifies the emotion of anger, which is reflected in his appearance as his head resembles Mount Fuji, particularly a volcano on the verge of eruption. Provoking him only fuels his strength, as his anger causes him to burn more intensely, to the point where he can literally be seen exploding from everywhere. Jogo harbors a deep contempt for humans, whom he labels as imposters while regarding curses as the true embodiment of humanity. In his quest to allow only curses to inhabit Earth, he allies himself with Kenjaku. Jogo sees Sukuna as a crucial ally as well, provided that the outcome ensures a world dominated by curses. Driven by his aggressive disposition, he is willing to lay down his life for this cause, accepting the possibility of his own demise if it contributes to Sukuna's revival and his end goal being met. Jogo's existence is rooted in humanity's fear and negative sentiment towards volcanoes and fire-related natural disasters, giving birth to a cursed spirit of remarkable intelligence and immense cursed energy. The strength of a curse is often measured against Sukuna's fingers as a unit of power. Kenjaku notably esteemed Jogo's might as equivalent to that of 8 or 9 of Sukuna's fingers. Despite his inability to stand against the formidable forces of Satoru Gojo and Sukuna, Jogo significantly surpasses the capabilities of even the most skilled sorcerers and other special grade curses, and much of the credit goes to his risk-taking and fierce nature. Jogo's belief system is centered around the conviction that humans are the real monsters with their tendency to cloak themselves in positivity, which according to him is merely a facade. Motivated by his vision of a new world where curses can live as true humans, he was prepared to pursue any measures necessary to advance his cause even at the cost of his own existence. In conversations with Mahito about adhering to Geto's strategy to enlist Sukuna's support, they concurred that Sukuna's revival was of such importance that all of them were willing to die for a collective cause as long as their dream world could be achieved in the long run. Upon entering Yuji Itadori in the Shibuya arc, Jogo wasted no time in offering up every Sukuna finger he had to ensure Sukuna's dominance over Yuji's body. After he is able to awaken Sukuna, Jogo quickly realizes that Sukuna's presence is far more malevolent than Gojo Satoru's, only because Sukuna is nothing but pure evil. Rather than soliciting any favors from Sukuna, Jogo merely suggested that Sukuna should seek to permanently usurp Yuji's body. However, Sukuna declined, saying that he had his own agenda, which left Jogo both confused and taken aback. In exchange for the fingers, Sukuna consented to engage in combat with Jogo, agreeing to collaborate with him should he be defeated. Fully aware of the risk to his life, Jogo entered a battle with Sukuna despite understanding the vast difference in their powers. Sukuna's superior strength soon became apparent, confronting Jogo with his limitations and fueling his frustration throughout their encounter. But we all know that Jogo's anger makes him more aggressive with attacks, so he engages in using his maximum technique, Meteor, which is able to cause massive destruction. Even in his moments of anger, Jogo rationally realized that using domain expansion against someone of Sukuna's caliber, especially given his prior experience with Satoru, is an open invitation towards death itself, so he refrained from it. Sukuna eventually noticed Jogo's diminishing confidence. He believed Jogo was foolish for wanting to take the place of humans and told Jogo that comparing yourself to those around you stunts true growth. If Jogo wanted to, he could have burnt everything he desired to a cinder without a second thought. Jogo in his final moments accepted that Sukuna was right and that he probably lacked the hunger to reach the heights of Satoru Gojo. However, Sukuna admitted their fight was fun, stating that Jogo stood out amongst those he's fought in the last 1,000 years, encouraging the cursed spirit to stand proud because he was strong. This acknowledgement of his strength made Jogo so proud that he shed tears for the first time, completely unaware that he was even capable of crying. Even though Jogo met his demise, he existed in the world with respect and acknowledgement from the King of Curses. Thanks to this event, we were gifted with all the Lobotomy Kaizen videos. With the ability to hurl meteors as his ultimate technique and unleash a volcanic inferno through his domain expansion, Jogo's obsession and pride in his strength are understandable. This pride is not just a trait but a cornerstone of his identity, complemented by his intelligence and unwavering commitment to his beliefs, even to the extent of sacrificing his life for the fulfillment of his long-term objectives. On a more personal note, Jogo exhibits a short temper, irritability, and a pronounced arrogance. When Kenjaku reveals his strategy to confront Satoru Gojo using the Prism Realm, Jogo, in his overconfidence, decides to take on Satoru directly, aiming to claim the Prison Realm as his prize. Despite Kenjaku's constant heads up that Satoru was unbeatable, Jogo just got more pumped about the challenge. And well, you guessed it, he easily got knocked down. He didn't take Satoru all that seriously at first, thinking it wouldn't be a big deal if he lost. But after his defeat, Jogo had to admit, at least to himself, that Kenjaku was right all along. Still, his cursed spirit pride wouldn't let him back down, especially after Gojo called him weak, which really got under his skin. He ended up bailing out that time but held on to his grudge, which was pretty obvious when they faced off again. Yes, Jogo did get humbled, but that never made him refuse a good challenge, which can be seen in his battle with Sukuna shortly after Gojo was sealed. He always held his strength in high regard, ready to test it anywhere and everywhere. A curse that looks like this. Calling him hot-tempered sounds like a pun. Just like his powers and fiery look suggest, Jogo has a short fuse and gets worked up pretty easily. To be fair, he's got a company like Mahito, who enjoys messing with people's minds, as we saw in the Shibuya arc. Jogo was already caught in a heated debate with Chozo about whether to kill Yuji Itadori or let him live when Mahito jumped in, teasing Jogo by saying he'd kill him too. While being hot-tempered is often seen as a downside for humans, for a curse like Jogo, it actually works in his favor, giving him a boosted power with his anger. In fact, non-sorcerers would instantly combust simply by being in the vicinity when he activates his curse technique. The same grim outcome awaits any Jujutsu sorcerer daring enough to step into Jogo's domain. Jogo's demeanor towards his allies is relatively relaxed, but we also see him lose his cool, primarily due to his concerns over the future of his race and the challenge of battling incredibly strong sorcerers. He is somewhat like a grumpy old man, who despite generally being laid back, can erupt in outbursts of anger here and there. This old man psychology can be intriguing. Often, this demeanor in older individuals stems from a lifetime of experiences, responsibilities, and sometimes unmet expectations. It reflects a complex blend of wisdom, fatigue, and a decreasing tolerance for what they perceive as nonsensical or trivial. For Jogo, these outbursts might be his way of dealing with the pressure and frustration of his existential goals. As we have already discussed, Jogo is a highly intellectual and skilled special grade curse that stayed unregistered for years in the series, which is not an ordinary thing. Even after the discovery of his existence, he has always been tough to take down and not easily exorcised. He endures a severe thrashing from Satoru Gojo, and despite being ultimately overpowered, Jogo survives attacks from several of Satoru's curse techniques, including Curse Technique Reversal, Red. He also manages to hold his own in a drawn-out battle with Sukuna, recovering from each physical blow dealt to him. Despite being outmatched, these abilities to endure and try to overcome strong opponents are still appreciable. Jogo also has exceptional levels of cursed energy, even for a special grade, on par with about 9 of Sukuna's fingers. Satoru and other sorcerers can tell his powers within the special grade range just by sensing his aura. Jogo relies solely on his curse technique in combat, using it tirelessly without running out of steam. He can also create a domain and unleash a maximum technique, showcasing his proficiency in Jujutsu and his substantial cursed energy reserves. Jogo possesses a unique volcanic ability that allows him to create intensely hot cursed flames. He can unleash fire or emit heat rays from his hands, or even cause small volcanic vents to appear around him, from which he blasts his potent beams. His Ember Insects technique lets him summon small, flying, insect-like curses from the volcanic vent on his head. These insects come equipped with large stingers, making a distinct buzzing sound on impact before bursting into a fiery explosion. Jogo's most powerful move is a massive flaming meteor, which he can launch at his targets, wreaking havoc and capable of leveling a significant area of Shibuya. Even Sukuna acknowledges that he would sustain injuries had Jogo's maximum meteor connected with him. Jogo's anti-domain technique boosts his cursed energy into an aura that ensures his attacks never miss. However, he chooses not to use this to save energy, aiming instead to counter Satoru Gojo's limitless technique. His domain, Coffin of the Iron Mountain, creates an environment resembling the interior of a volcano, which Jogo can control as he pleases. Within this domain, an average sorcerer would be incinerated upon entry, and the volcanic stone acts as a lethal, unavoidable attack. This strategic use of his abilities underscores Jogo's focus on combat, highlighting his inclination towards engaging in battle and leveraging his powers to their fullest extent. Jogo has a dark side to him. This darker aspect of his personality makes his dedication to his ideology and willingness to sacrifice himself for a greater cause all the more complex. Sukuna criticized Jogo's ambition to replace humans, suggesting that Jogo's tendency to measure himself against others and seek their approval was limiting his potential. He argued that true growth comes from pursuing one's desires relentlessly, without hesitation or regard for the consequences. Jogo came to accept that Sukuna had a point and recognized his own lack of ambition compared to someone like Satoru Gojo. Nonetheless, Sukuna found their battle enjoyable, acknowledging Jogo as a formidable opponent unlike any he had encountered in a millennium. He encouraged Jogo to take pride in his strength, a rare commendation that moved Jogo to tears, revealing a depth of emotion he hadn't known he possessed. Cursed spirits, with their inherent malevolence and sadistic tendencies towards humans, display a complex spectrum of emotions and capacities for relationships among their own kind. For instance, Chozo's deep bond with his brothers and Jogo's visible distress over the loss of Dagon and Hanami highlight a capacity for compassion that contradicts their usual demeanor towards humans. While Jogo and Hanami exhibit moments of empathy and connection, Mahito, born from pure human hatred, appears beyond any form of rehabilitation due to his very essence. Dagon, on the other hand, is akin to a newborn, lacking developed attachments or a complex worldview. Amidst these varied personalities, Jogo and Hanami stand out as having the potential for adaptation and possibly integration into human society, despite their fundamental nature geared towards destruction. Their shared vision of becoming the real human suggests an underlying desire for acceptance and coexistence, challenging the notion that their violent impulses are immutable. The argument that many humans possess sadistic and murderous inclinations yet choose not to act on them implies that, with significant effort and perhaps guidance, even a cursed spirit like Jogo could find a place within Jujutsu society, akin to Tengen. This journey towards rehabilitation would undoubtedly be fraught with challenges, given their innate instincts, but Jogo's evolution hints at the possibility of change and redemption, illustrating a blend of nature and nurture within the world of cursed spirits. But that's just a theory. In any case, kinda glad Jogo existed because without him, we would have never had this baddie. Jogo's demeanor is marked by quiet arrogance and deep-seated confidence in his own capabilities. This self-assurance is so profound that he blatantly disregards Kenjaku's cautionary advice, choosing instead to confront Gojo Satoru head-on, forcing him into a humbling retreat. The aftermath of this encounter didn't lead Jogo to a path of reflection and reconsideration, as one might expect. Instead, it only intensified his resolve, embedding a deep grudge against Gojo within him. This grudge, rather than diminishing his spirit, acted as a catalyst for his determination. It signified not just a personal vendetta, but a complex mixture of humiliation, a desire for redemption, and an unyielding drive to reassess his capabilities and place within the power dynamics they inhabited. And then we have fans who say,
"It should have been me, not him!"
Jogo's insistence on a rematch, despite the stark demonstration of Gojo's superiority, underscores a psychological resilience and a refusal to be defined by a single defeat. This mindset reveals an aspect of his character, an ability to convert a humbling defeat into a source of motivation. It reflects an intricate blend of pride, the complexity of grappling with one's limitations, and an almost stubborn refusal to accept those limitations as permanent. Jogo's thought process is actually quite human in comparison with the way villains are typically painted to be purely bad guys. Jujutsu Kaisen has a way of making you get more invested in its villains than its main characters. I mean, I love Jogo and Sukuna and hate Gojo. When it comes to Jogo's agenda, it kind of sits on the fence between being a bit messed up and making some sense, depending on how you look at it. He's all in on shaking things up to bring back the King of Curses, believing that's the way forward for curses to get the respect and place they deserve. It sounds pretty wild, but for him, it's about sticking to his guns and being ready to throw down his life for what he believes is a bigger cause. This in contradiction is an ideology that both the good guys and the bad guys are putting everything on the line for their own reasons, and it's tough to flat out say that's wrong. It's like everyone's fighting tooth and nail for their own version of what's right, making sacrifices along the way. So, Jogo's plan might seem like it's just about causing trouble and mayhem from where we're standing, but in his eyes, it's about fighting for the Curse Crew's right to be taken seriously. It's this whole idea that whether you're a human or a curse, everyone's trying to stand up for their beliefs, even if it means sacrificing yourself for it. This idea is appreciable, and it proves how good of a villain Jogo is written to be as a fictional character. Every individual character is always meant to have a cause they work for, be it something monumental or trivial. For Jogo, his ideology is not merely an abstract concept, but the foundation of his identity, influencing every decision he makes and every battle he engages in. His commitment to his beliefs is vividly demonstrated in his confrontations, particularly in his decision to rematch Gojo Satoru and his bold challenge against Sukuna. Facing off against insanely strong opponents is Jogo's way of asserting his identity and showcasing his unwavering commitment to his cause. Even till the moment he perished from this world, he fought for his cause. Despite his diminishing confidence and coming closer to death, despite trying his hardest to fight against Sukuna, he still reached a point where he was content with dying, especially after the acknowledgement he got from the King of Curses. His last flashbacks were of his friends, of the cause that he strived for throughout his life, and of him reuniting with them after fulfilling his purpose. His story of personal struggle is a remarkable and eye-catching one. It is often referred to as, even if he went down like an absolute Chad. By choosing to confront the strongest sorcerers of his era, including the epitome of sorcery, Satoru Gojo, and on the opposite side of the spectrum, King of Curses, Sukuna, Jogo demonstrates a level of courage that is remarkable. This isn't just about physical strength, it's a testament to his psychological resilience and his unwavering commitment to his beliefs. This fearlessness extends to his alliances as well. Jogo's primary concern is the advancement of his personal cause, that is, the elevation and dominance of curses over humans. And for this cause, his alliances are not formed on the basis of moral alignment but on strategic compatibility. If an individual or group supports his vision for the world, he sees them as a valuable ally in his quest. This approach reflects a broader theme in Jujutsu Kaisen of characters being driven by their deep-seated ideologies and objectives. It shows characters who are fully aware of the risks involved in their battles and alliances but choose to pursue them nonetheless, believing firmly in the righteousness of their path. Moreover, Jogo's interactions with opponents and allies offer insights into his understanding of the importance of strength and influence in achieving his goals. One can't call the act morally wrong, since it is driven by a passion that explores its own rights and wrongs. You can never classify Jogo's actions as bad, since his logic behind it was to save his own kind. For that cause, he was as fearless as one may get, which makes him human in itself despite being a literal cursed spirit. After reflecting on Jogo's journey, one can't help but ponder whether it was merely a case of bad timing or if his potential was curtailed by facing the strongest adversaries right from the start. Had Jogo encountered opponents of varying strength before confronting the likes of Satoru Gojo and Sukuna, perhaps his path might have unfolded differently. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And there you have it, folks. That's Jogo in a nutshell. Hit that like button if you had as much fun as I did, exploring his character, and dive into the next video for more mind-blowing content.